Frankie Russo over here, 77 WABC. I'm running a little late, sorry, but because I'm going to go to 12:30. Frankie Russo pre-show 135. America's team. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We got to do this. So my email is frusso14@aol.com. The fundraising is slow, but I ain't stopping. You better believe it. So I'm gonna do the model while we're talking. While we're talking, I'm gonna do the model and we'll put it together because it brings everything full circle. You know, it really does. I gotta say. So we got a fraudulent selective service registration card, Mama, Sheriff Joe and the cold case posse, right? Clinton Foundation, memorandum of understanding between the Clinton Foundation and the Obama Clinton State Department, right? Signed by Valerie Jarrett and Bill Clinton. True. And in addition, an illegal, unapproved server, State Department server in the basement of Hillary Clinton's house, according to well-researched open source articles, shared an IP address with the Clinton Foundation server. And in addition, according to Judicial Watch's Freedom of Information requests, garnered the data to show that there was a commingling of docs between the Clinton Foundation and the Obama Clinton State Department. That's a problem. Iranian Global Terror Network. The connection, Iranian terror surrogates, right? IRGC, Quds Force, General Soleimani, Syria, Assad, CARE, Council of American Islamic Relations, NAIT, ISNA, ASA Corporation, Alevi Foundation, and Bank Melli of Iran. And then we got ISIS, Iran, we got AQ, Iran, Al-Qaeda, Hezbollah, Iran, we got Afghan Taliban, Iran, and we got Hamas, Iran. This is the pre-model, right? This is before the Obama timeline. And then with the Obama timeline, we got, okay, so we got the Alevi Foundation, the Iranian Global Terror Network, part of the 655th Avenue case, wasn't designated a terrorist entity, we don't know why, part of the Iranian terror triad that owned 655th Avenue within the United States jurisdiction, deemed court papers, judge's decision, Judge Catherine Forrest ruled in favor of the United States government, right? And so $105,000 went to the Clinton Foundation. And, you know, so what, Frankie Russo, who cares why bring that up? It's only $105,000. Hillary, they getting 20 million Blind Sheikh's Mosque. They're getting 20 million from Saudi Arabia. But then it came out that the Levy Foundation gave $1.3 million to the Blind Sheikh's Mosque. And there's another example of the contradiction of the Sunni Shia divide. Iran is a Shia republic, and they gave money to the Blind Sheikh's Mosque. The Blind Sheikh is Muslim Brotherhood. They're Sunni. Crazy, right? We got that. Then we got the 5 Iranian Quds Force leaders released. You got it. I misspelled. So in Erbil, Iraq, and then we got Bergdorf trade. Qatar, Al-Momani, ISIS, yeah, and Yassin al-Suri. And we know in the Bergdorf trade, Harullah, the Taliban governor of the Herat province in Afghanistan, is directly linked, according to a Lone War Journal, Thomas Jocelyn, and then we go to New York Times, DOD docs, and we got we got Hirullah, the governor of the Taliban, his ties with Omar Mullah and Mullah Mansour. They're in Iran because they have an office in Iranian city of Sahadan, according to Lone War Journal, Thomas Jocelyn. In addition, we found through the DOD, the unclassified New York Times doc, that this Harullah's got strong ties with Karzai, and we found out that Karzai was receiving over $600,000 of money in money bags from Iran. So it's crazy. Then we got the Palestinian Authority sending money. We're sending money to Hamas and Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo, and Iran sends tens of millions of dollars with rockets to Hamas. And then we got Egypt. We're sending 20 jet fighters and 1.5 billion to Morsi, Muslim Brotherhood. We threw Mubarak out, and Iran, according to the Washington Post, Iran was involved in training the Muslim Brotherhood. Morsi was tried for espionage. Crazy. And then we got the Syrian thing, where we were sending weapons to train, to arm the Syrian rebels to fight Assad, and it was where we said, like, I don't know how much we actually sent, but it was published that we sent like $500 million. It came out, I don't know how much actually got there, but it came out that, quite frankly, that they ended up giving the weapons to ISIS in Syria. Go figure, right? And we know from Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo, Congressional Research Service, that Iran estimates gives between 3 to 15 billion annually to Syria. So that's an issue. And then we got Benghazi, the Benghazi cover-up. Kenneth Tillerman, we found out that the Quds Force and General Soleimani was the ones that performed that hit on the so here's the model. Here it is. Now, so I blogged last week on why is Pakistan not designated a world state sponsor of terror? Why hasn't Pakistan been designated a world state sponsor of terror by the Obama-Clinton administration? And I outlined some interesting stuff. We brought in the Afghanistan thing with Herula and Karzai in Iran and getting money from Iran, and then we it isn't as clear and explicit. The Pakistan thing isn't as clear as and explicit, but it's pretty statistically significant with this dude named Abdul Qadar Khan, the father, according to Time magazine, the father of the nuclear program in Pakistan, and he's called AQ Khan, and he's being a nuclear proliferator for the rogue nations throughout the world, North Korea and Iran. And he received millions of dollars from Iran. And don't forget, Pakistan and Afghanistan border Iran. So, and then we found out Musharraf, general from he became president of Pakistan. He has very strong ties and called the Osama bin Laden, Ayman al-Zawahiri, the Al Qaeda, and Afghan Taliban heroes, helping him fight. He trained them, he armed them, fighting the Kashmir conflict. So these leaders know the radicalism, and I believe, quite frankly, in the courtroom of American public opinion, the premise Obama-Clinton crime family is conceivably a criminal enterprise. If statistically significant, the Obama-Clinton administration is a criminal enterprise, then we can state with much statistical significance that the Obama-Clinton crime family, in all likelihood and all probability, is conceivably fronting for radical Islamists. And now I'm getting ready to blog ISIS, and this is where I'm at. I have a preliminary skeleton of what I'm going to blog, and I'm just going to go in deeper next week. I'll, with the grace of God, I'll have it done. I'll have it blogged by. I have the blog done by next week. ISIS. The heading on the ISIS blog is basically can we argue? Can it be argued that ISIS is not a Sunni militia, but rather a Sunni Shia militia? And this is the beginning of my argument. And this is why I have and I begin the argument. The Islamic Republic of Iran, the world's largest state sponsor of terror, the Iranian Global Terror Network, the Iranian terror surrogates, weapons of mass destruction, Iran's long-term ballistic missile program, Iran's nuclear program, Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's Quds Force with General Soleimani. And then I focus on the Iranian terror surrogates. And we got Al-Qaeda-Iran nexus, which is basically a Sunni Shia terror connection. And how do I prove that with statistical significance? U.S. courts ruled that the Islamic Republic of Iran materially supported Al-Qaeda before, during, and after the horrific hit on the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. So that's one of many. Okay. Next member of the Iranian terror surrogates, Hamas-Iran nexus equals a Sunni Shia terror connection. The Islamic Republic of Iran provides tens of millions of dollars to Hamas plus 10,000 rockets from 5 to 10,000 rockets from 2007 to drop on Israel. Washington Free Beacon, Adam Credo. And in that article, he cites the Congressional Research Service, so it's pretty well documented there. And then we got the Afghan Taliban, Iran Nexus, which is a Sunni Shia terror connection, and the Islamic Republic of Iran materially supports Afghan Taliban with weapons and money, and that's been documented by the Wall Street Journal, one of many articles. I'm just giving you some examples of how we're deriving this connection. Now we got the Hezbollah Iran, which is a Shiite terror, and working with the world's largest state sponsor of terror, which is Iran. And for example, we have the 1983 Beirut bombing, killing of 200 Marines. Iran and Hezbollah worked on that one. The unfortunate hit on in Beirut, and then we have the Crowbar Towers, and we have the Nairobi embassy bombings. And it's court papers, judges' decisions. Iran, Hezbollah were behind that. Were behind those hits. So the question is now ISIS. Now, because I'm bringing this into ISIS, does ISIS fall within that model? I don't know. The ISIS right now, on all published accounts, ISIS is a Sunni militia, Al Qaeda in Iraq. So ISIS is basically Al Qaeda in Iraq, and we could get to Iran through Al Qaeda, right? That's one way. Or is ISIS Iran Nexus a Sunni Shia terror connection, like those others I've mentioned, the other Iranian surrogates? So I started, and I looked over this Long War Journal, an article by Tom Jocelyn, and I don't have it in front of me. I just want to briefly I have this in front of me. So, like, following the Saddam Hussein ouster, right? There was the first leader of Al Qaeda in Iraq was Musab Abu Zakwari, and basically, he was the leader of Al Qaeda in Iraq, which we know through mainstream media is ISIS. And according to the article, Iran was providing a safe haven for the Al Qaeda in Iraq for Musab Abu Zakwari, and in addition, Khomeini was ordering the United States out of Iraq. So it's pretty interesting. And to take this a step further, which I found, this will give you another. This is the Washington Times, and I'm going to get some articles today. After this, I can get to the articles. This is just a little preliminary on my blog on. I'm going to do on ISIS. So here is. Okay. I thought I was going to, the links are not working. All right, I'm going to put it right into the bar. That's what I'm going to do. Just bear with me. I'll get it this way. July 20, 2016, U.S. Treasury Department announced that it had sanctioned 3 high-level operatives who were living in Iran. Treasury designated Faisal Jeslim, Al-Khalidi, Yasser Mohammed, Ibrahim, Abu Bakr Mohammed as designated terrorists acting on behalf of Iran, of Al Qaeda living in Iran. Let's see if I can get the actual Treasury. Okay. Oh, so Reuters has it, huh? Oh, nice. Reuters, a nice group there, Reuters. And then we're going to go to some articles. Treasury designates 3 senior Al Qaeda lead members. I mentioned their names. Faisal Khalidi. Al-Khalidi is a senior Al Qaeda official who was emir of an Al Qaeda brigade, part of a new generation of Al Qaeda operatives. Al-Khalidi was at the annual Al-Qaeda Council meeting. He received funding and was a liaison between the U.S. designated terrorist group Tariq a Taliban in Pakistan. You see how the tie is, it's just amazing. The Treasury Department, here's this other dude, um, Yesra Mohammed Ibrahim. Bayami is a veteran Al Qaeda member who was located in Iran since 2014. And Abu Bakr Muhammad is a senior Al Qaeda leader who has served in several financial, communication, and logistic roles for the group. Just to give you an idea, as of 2015, Abu Bakr Muhammad assumed control of the financing organization of Al Qaeda members located in Iran before he traveled to Pakistan and other countries as a conduit to senior Al Qaeda leadership as late as 2014. Amazing. Interesting. This is great stuff. This is interesting. But anyway, just to give you an idea, so that's where I'm at with this blog. Okay, so let's look at some articles. What happened to my, oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, London mayor to ban sexualized images of women. That London mayor is beginning to bring in Mayor Khan, first Muslim mayor, is set to ban images of unrealistic, scantily clad women from images on public transport, which could see the city adopt some of the most censoring policies in Western world. Argued for the move by appropriating the language of feminism, claiming that the alluring images of beautiful women could make them ashamed of their bodies. You believe this? I'm just like blown away. The New York bomber Ramani bought supplies on eBay using his name. Crazy stuff, right? Breitbart News reporting. To go two on that, it's crazy. So the terrorists responsible for multiple explosions in New York and New Jersey. What, yeah, you come in. What's up?
Oh, no, it's okay.
You should, okay, brother. Hamid Khan Ramani bought explosive supplies through website eBay using his name as his username. The FBI revealed in the indictment. You believe it? Crazy. Breaking news. Hillary Clinton's email deleter found online asking how to destroy evidence, then destroys evidence of it. Here's an interesting article here, right? Charlotte Mecklenburg Fraternal Order of Police told this Erin Burnett the bulk of the published promoter. Sorry, it's late at night. Protesters being arrested in Charlotte were not from North Carolina, but out of the state based on their IDs. Over 70%. There's some sort of game that's going on over here, and nobody wants to be honest about it, you know? Really, nobody wants to be honest about what's going on, quite frankly. It's a really crazy game that's going on. Nobody wants to be honest. The FBI says there's no way to vet the refugees. No way. FBI's claims. Black Lives Matter will tear down New Orleans monuments themselves. It's crazy. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. We're in this is a systemic coup d'état, quite frankly. Asking for the funding of here's an interesting one. Obama has handcuffed federal anti-jihad investigators. Interesting. This is an interesting article. Mateen, the dude that did the Orlando, killed the 49 Americans, emerged from a network of radical mosques that are shielded from federal investigators, according to Filippini. This guy's a doctor, and he's a scientist in the radical Islamists. The warning came the day after James Comey admitted the FBI investigators studied the killer twice, but our investigation turned up no ties of any consequence between the killer and other jihadists. This seems to be an ongoing problem. Now, the FBI agents were helpless to stop Mateen because of the professional guardrails imposed by Obama's deputies, said Filippini, who was one of the first investigators at the office that would grow into the Department of Homeland Security. The guardrails were officially established in 2012. The FBI guiding principles, the touchstone document on training. The extremist speech rarely is consequential enough for an investigation unless it incites imminent lawless activity or constitutes a true threat. FBI training must emphasize the protection of civil rights and civil liberties. A suspect's mere association with the organization that demonstrate both legitimate advocacy and illicit violent extremism. Objectives should not automatically result in a determination that the associated individual is acting in furtherance of the organization's illicit objectives. This is the document, the FBI guiding principles. This is Breitbart News. FBI training must focus on behavioral indicators that have a potential nexus to terrorist or criminal activity, while making clear that religious expression, protest activity, and the espousing of political and ideological beliefs are constitutionally protected activities that must not be equated with terrorism or criminality absent from other indicia of such offenses. Relevant training material and feedback must be solicited from other agencies or FBI audiences who have received training. When feasible, feedback should be solicited from knowledgeable community partners, including Islamic political groups. Based on these restricted standards, it would have been virtually impossible to justify an investigation or extensive surveillance of Mateen, the Orlando shooter, even though a simple internet search shows Mateen's close ties to radical mosques, according to Filippini. This is off the hook in the Frankie Russo world. You just can't make this stuff up. A mysterious, bizarre message plays on hacked array. Is there life on planet Europa? NASA to announce major news and breakthrough. Yellen helps Clinton dodge a bullet. She's not going to raise the interest rates. Trump opposes the UN takeover of the internet. Thank God. Obama vetoes the victims' bill to sue the Saudis. Why am I not shocked? Scanning software deciphers ancient Bible. People are implanting microchips under the skin to improve their lives. That's a ruse. That's to take over their lives. That's the government looking to take over their lives. Trump support surges in Pennsylvania towns. That's what I'm talking about. We spoke about the London mayor invoking Sharia law in a very covert way. He's attacking the display of women images in the public sphere. Globalist Obama condemns crude populism sweeping the planet. Why am I not shocked? Work starts on UK-funded Great Wall of Silas to stop immigrants sneaking into Britain from the jungle. Migrant camp. Clinton gave State Department appointments to 194 donors. Monday Night Football ratings are down. Trump regaining North Carolina. Trump, I was looking at Breitbart News, not Breitbart News, what's his name? Nate Silver's website. And I found it really interesting from the vantage point that Ohio, Trump is up over 60%, almost 60%. Florida, he's up. Iowa, he's up. That's a Democratic stronghold. Nevada, he's up. That's a Democratic stronghold. Now, there's something up with the Rust Belt. That's Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. I believe that Donald Trump is going to make some serious moves in that area. And that is the beginning of the end of the Democratic reign on the executive branch of the United States government. 70% of European Jews won't be able to. They're very concerned about their high holy days, the security, and they're very concerned about it. Teens dressed as clowns charged with making terrorist threats against students. New York City mayor says Islamic terror vanishingly rare. Really? These are the people. 10 times in the past 2 years, terrorists sift through immigration processes into the U.S. Now, I just want to say, and that's pretty much some of the articles. I'm going to go on Drudge Report. I get all my articles from Drudge Report, I'm going to go on Drudge now, see what else is going on. I just want to say, I'm going to get into Drudge now in a minute. Understand something. The father of radical Islamic terror is the blind sheikh. The blind sheikh came in from the Sudan via Egypt. He was involved with radical Islamic terror over there. He was a defendant on the assassination of Anwar Sadat. He got sent to Sudan because they threw him out. He was on trial for the assassination of Anwar Sadat, and he invoked. Guess what he invoked? He invoked the Quran, and they just got rid of him. He said his defense was it's in the Quran. You believe it? He went to Sudan. He went to Sudan with Omar al-Bashir and the radical Islamists over there. He's Muslim Brotherhood. He's Muslim. Omar Bashir is Muslim Brotherhood. Radical Islamists. Osama bin Laden. He's Muslim Brotherhood, and so was Ayman al-Zawahiri. That's Al Qaeda. And then he ended up going to America. And the way he got into America is he married an American Muslim convert. And he's a religious leader, so he established residence with the Al Farouk Mosque in Brooklyn, and then that mosque was where all the terror began. So the immigration policies have not have been a problem, haven't been enforced for decades, right? Abu Alima, he's a major perpetrator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. He was convicted of it. He came in from the visa waiver from Germany, and he established residence through the amnesty in 1986, claiming that he was a farmer. Yeah, from South Carolina. The guy was born in Egypt. He got thrown in Egypt because of radical Islam, according to the Time magazine article. Crazy stuff, right? Abu Alima. And him and his wife fraudulently lied about being a farmer in South Carolina. And the dude got radical Islamist background, and he got into America, and him with the Al Farouk, the Blind Sheikh's Mosque, and Muhammad Al Anudi in Jersey City with Musa Abu Mazouk, and all this stuff going on in the Blind Sheikh's Mosque, planned the bombings and killings of Americans and the wounding of thousands of Americans in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, where Osama bin Laden was an unindicted co-conspirator, where Palestinian Authority President Mohammed Abbas was an unindicted co-conspirator. So, I mean, it all ties in, right? So what I'm trying to show is that, and you look at Saeed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, who went out to Saudi Arabia, right? They met out in Saudi Arabia. Well, people say, well, these guys were born here. The terrorists, they were born here. I mean, I don't get the logic. Saeed Farouk went out to Saudi Arabia, got his wife, and got into a fiance visa, right? From Saudi Arabia. His mother tied into the radical Islamic group in Pakistan. They're all at the family. And they got it's very similar way. Going back to the Blind Sheikh and Abu Alima, Muhammad Sama, and Ramli Youssef. Ramli Youssef was another guy. I mean, these guys got they breached because the immigration laws are not being enforced, they got in. The same stuff that's what I'm trying to say is the same stuff that's gone on in the 90s when this radical Islamic terror started in America is still going on today. It's still going on today. Whoops. So I wanted to qualify that. So now, all right. So let's look at this. This is interesting now. I'm on Drudge. We're going to be on a few more minutes. FBI bombshell. Obama used fictitious names in emails with Clinton. So Obama. See, this is what bothers me with the. Not only is mainstream media dishonest, but also they do not want to implicate Obama into Clinton's activities as Secretary of State, which I find very offensive. If you look at Watergate with Bob Woodward and the deemed crusaders of the liberal media, then we even did a movie about it, all the president's men. And Nixon just sent his plumbers over to the DNC, got some data, like they've been doing it for decades. They got busted, and Nixon didn't burn the tapes, so he got caught in the covering up, obstructing justice, and he had to resign over a DNC break-in. Here, we have a State Department server. Why do I say that? In the courtroom of American public opinion, Hillary Clinton, in the capacity of the Secretary of State of the United States, was utilizing this server to conduct the business of the office of the Secretary of State. So that's, in all likelihood and all probability, that is the property of the United States government. And it wasn't within the network of the United States government's computer network. It was outside of that network. So it wasn't transparent. It was put in the basement of Hillary Clinton's house. And a memorandum of understanding was signed between Valerie Jarrett and Bill Clinton to attach the Clinton Foundation to to the Obama-Clinton State Department, the Obama-Clinton administration. And Obama used fictitious names in the emails with Clinton, and he denied, according to the Drudge Report, he denied CBS News. He claimed to have learned about Hillary Clinton, the State Department server in Hillary Clinton's basement, from news accounts, and they got him 18 times emails back and forth, and in this FBI bombshell, Obama used fictitious names in emails with Clinton. FBI documents revealed. Why am I not shocked? What names did he use? Barry Soetoro? Or maybe Barry Sabakwa? Or maybe, I don't know, Barack Hussein? Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Who does stuff like this? Amazing. Right? Charlotte. Troops take to Charlotte streets, dramatic video released. Dozens of armed National Guardsmen took up positions on street corners in Charlotte on Friday after the family of a black man fatally shot by police released its own video of the encounter that has sparked 3 days of sometimes violent protests. Few people were on the streets as the sun began to set and crowds were sparse in bars and restaurants in uptown section of Charlotte. The family of shooting victim Keith Scott continued to urge officials to release their own recordings of the slaying as they called for peace in Charlotte. The moment when a black police officer shoots Scott, a 43-year-old father of 7, cannot be seen in a 2-minute video recorded by his wife, who can be heard urging officers not to fire. Don't shoot him, he has no weapon, drop the gun. The officers were several gunshots can be heard in the video, which was released in U.S. media. Did you shoot him? He better not, followed by screaming, he better not be dead. So, I mean, CNN, a source close to the investigation is saying the loaded gun had been recovered. Wow. So CNN quoted a source close to the investigation as saying that a loaded gun had been recovered at the scene of the crime and that fingerprints, DNA, and blood on it matched Scott's. So I don't know. I believe that there's scrubbing of documents, right? So the scrubbing of data. So why am I not shocked? That's where we're at. This is the times that we live. Fury. Do white lives matter in Charlotte? Internet outrage grows after protests turn violent. Influential finance blogger Zero Hedge, among others, have drawn attention to a video posted on social media that appears to show Charlotte protesters beating, dragging, stripping, and laughing at an innocent white man. Now, this is bad stuff, and I don't get it. I think it's terrible what's going on. I really do. And I'm calling, I'm hoping that people will get. I'm very concerned about, honestly, I'm very concerned about the trajectory of the racial problems we have in this country. It's unfortunate that the media would rather have their profits and their different things that they espouse more important to them, their profits, their advertisers. So basically, the mainstream media is bought and sold by the Clinton machine, as well as that's why they're propping up Hillary Clinton to take on Donald Trump, because my feeling is internal polling, Donald Trump is crushing her. But because Hillary Clinton has bought and sold the mainstream media, Trump's going to win handily. Trump won't win by a landslide because they're very dishonest, in my view. And we go through it every week, and this is one of them. They incite, arguably, quite frankly, the data stating, because why aren't we looking at? Everybody wants to look at the optics of this violence in these inner cities, And a lot of these, this is not the 1940s and 50s where these police forces were predominantly white. So we have chiefs in these inner cities are black. Like in New York, I think it's like 40, late 30s, early 40s whites, and the rest are all non-whites in the police force. So the majority of the police force is non-white. I don't understand why it's always racial. And it's some of these cops that are killing the African American kids, African American men, are black. I don't understand. It just doesn't make any sense because people don't want to solve the problems. I believe anyway. So Kim Kardashian's rethinking her Clinton endorsement. What's this with Bruce Springsteen? Oh, Bruce Springsteen. Ted Cruz is endorsing Donald Trump, man of integrity. Hey, you should have endorsed him at the. Quite frankly, you should have endorsed him at the convention. He would have been a real mensch. His timing, hey, I'm not sure what kind of effect it'll have, but Clinton demands a step stool at the podium to add height. Okay. Riots, 70% of arrested have out of state IDs. Nudist park in Paris. Teen arrested after Facebook video shows 3-year-old nephew smoking pot. Yahoo sued for gross negligence over huge hacking. UPS launches drone test flights for urgent medical deliveries. Book shows stop having babies to slow climate change. Obama vetoes the Saudi 9/11 bill, which would enable Americans to sue Saudi Arabia for being involved in the September 11th, 2001 horrific hit on the World Trade Center that killed thousands of Americans. So this is some of the stuff that's on the internet right now. So, and then I got this other stuff. I got another 10 minutes, so I just want to go through this because I want to look it through. So I want to present it. So this is what I'm starting now. This is another segment. Okay. So we got a few weeks ago. I had this article from the Washington Post about drones, and I fell off my chair when I was reading it because in the article, I don't have it in front of me. I'll look it up. I forgot what it was. I gotta find it. Let me try to find it. The Washington Post was talking about drones, and in there it was a Hezbollah, and it stated in the article that the U.S. drone program is providing intelligence to Hezbollah. Nobody cares? What's going on here? The U.S. drone program is providing intelligence to Hezbollah. I'm going to look for the article now. Providing intelligence to Hezbollah. Oh, man. New York Post. Damn, man. I got to find this article. I don't have it now. Hezbollah damages CIA spy network in Libya, Lebanon. Hmm. Hmm. I can't find it. I don't know if I'll have it for the show, but forgot what it was. It's with Hezbollah. U.S. drone program providing intelligence to Hezbollah. Washington Post reports. So then what I did was I did a little search. Here's what I found. All right, from there, now understand, Brazil has problems, right? Brazil's president was impeached. They have financial problems. South America, this is within our hemisphere, right? South America. Venezuela is experiencing food shortages. Family liquidates savings to stockpile food. The Venezuelan president is chased by angry protesters. Venezuela military personnel to oversee food distribution, right? Now, this is what I found very alarming. Within our hemisphere, Hezbollah registers as a political party in Peru. Shiite Iran's terror proxy Hezbollah, the Party of God, has registered as an official political party in Peru's Abancay province, home of the largest Muslim community in the country, reveals an exclusive report by the Latina news agency titled Hezbollah has arrived in Peru announcing the registration of its new political party. And this is what I believe is coming to America in some way, whether it be Muslim Brotherhood. I don't believe Hezbollah, but it'll be some sort of stealth Muslim political party that's going to come about, and it's going to be a big problem for us. Hezbollah, a terrorist group primarily based in Lebanon, has reportedly gained followers in the region of Abancay. The Shiite group has long maintained a presence in Latin America as a proxy of Iran. Allah Akbar, said the Hezbollah followers. Now, Brazil drug trafficking arrest turns out to be Hezbollah member. Brazilian authorities have announced the arrest of Lebanese Hezbollah member Fadali Hassan Nabah, wanted by Interpol for drug trafficking since 2013. Authorities admitted they didn't know he was working with this jihadi terror group until he personally told them after he was arrested. State Department. Hezbollah Islamic State maintain presence in Latin America. The U.S. Department of State has determined that Venezuela, which has refused to cooperate with the United States anti-terrorism efforts in Latin America for nearly a decade, remains a permissive environment that promotes ideological and financial support for terrorist organizations, namely Iran's Lebanese proxy Hezbollah. Breitbart News reporting. Although the primary threats to the Western Hemisphere stem from left-wing guerrillas known as the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or the National Liberation Army, the Islamic extremist group Shiite Hezbollah, and Sunni Islamic State ISIS also maintain a presence across the region. Iran terrorist sleeper cells are infiltrating South America, Argentine prosecutor says. Iran is infiltrating South America right in our hemisphere and setting up intelligence networks to carry out terrorist attacks in the region. An Argentine prosecutor stated, Alberto Nesman has been engaged for 20 years in the effort to charge a handful of former Iranian officials with masterminding the 1994 bombing of a Buenos Aires Jewish center. Nesman accused Rabbani, Iran's former cultural attaché in Buenos Aires and a suspect in the attack that killed 85 people, of working continually over the 2 decades to develop an intelligence network in Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Chile, Colombia, Ghana, Trinidad. Iran has sought to infiltrate the countries of Latin America in secret, install secret intelligence stations with the goal of committing, fomenting, fostering acts of international terrorism in concert with its goals of exporting the revolution. These sleeper cells, they are activities you wouldn't imagine. Sometimes I die having never received the order to attack. Nesman said he presented a 500-page indictment. He said Iran has sought to infiltrate the countries of Latin America and install secret intelligence stations with the goal of committing and fomenting and fostering acts of international terrorism in concert with its goals of exporting the revolution. So this is a, a problem, right? Whose side is the United States government on? Since we brought in this Obama-Clinton crime family, we are looking at a problem for our nation. So that's one category that we're looking at. Interesting. I tell you, oh, yeah, the human robots. The human robots are for sex addicts. Democrats wonder and worry, why isn't Clinton far ahead of Trump? Okay, so I'm gonna hire this out of here. Get ready for tonight. In about a half hour, we're going live. 77 WABC. Remember, let's help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We're going to make this happen. My email is frusso, Frusso 14 at AOL.com. This is Frankie Russo. Yeah. Yo, I'll see you in a few. Yeah. Oh, Lord have mercy.